The second of two races in the doubleheader here at Nazareth Speedway brings us to race 10 of the AT&T Champ Car World Series season. Following a hectic race last night, we saw Artyom Kozlov break through and grab a race win for the first time in 2024. The field is set and ready to go for the race here today in Nazareth. A doubleheader. We're racing here at Nazareth for the World Series and in New Hampshire for the Champ Car Challenger Series later today. All of it's going to be here on ABN. We bring you coverage of the IndyCar World and National Championships all season long. Showtime from Nazareth Speedway. It's Simona Leroux on pole position after being the last car on the lead lap last night. Simona Leroux gets to lead the field to green here today. That Red Bull Highlight Racing car. A lot of uncertainty on if Leroux will be staying with that team or moving on, whether or not Red Bull will be staying with that team or moving on. A good result would go a long way for the Swiss Miss. Alongside her, the three-time IndyCar World Champion, Stephanie Porter-Kelly, starts in second place outside front row for Porter-Kelly, who had a very bad end of the race last night. Despite being competitive throughout the race, couldn't put together at the end. BK Glover, who did a fantastic job up until the end as well. Tire fall off was a huge factor last night. Expected to be an even bigger factor here today. Glover starts in third alongside Alicia Kovalkiewicz. They're a racing car driver having a very quiet season so far in 2024. Lisa Alexander and Hazel Leon in row number 3. Again, not their best race last night because all the way through Artyom Kozlov here. Artyom Kozlov in row 8 and 15th place. Top 15 from last night's results, all inverted because it's all lead lap cars. So these are drivers that did not have the greatest races last night. Leon starting this race in 6th alongside Alexander, ahead of row 4's Sakura Ishibashi and Andrew Draco. You start looking a little bit further down the order here. You've got row 5, which was in the top 10 yesterday. Matthias Michelin and Nicole Lechty, Catherine Hart, and Evangeline Porter sit in row 6. Mia Valdez and Wyatt Jones, the two other podium finishers from last night's race, 3rd and 2nd respectively, will have to work from halfway through the field. Artyom Kozlov alongside Kaika Kobayashi. Those 16th to 26th are starting where they finished last night. If you were a lap down or if you didn't finish, you didn't get a chance to be a part of that grid inversion. So Kobayashi being the first car a lap down will start in 16th place. Shufan Zhang and Marcus Petrovich will start in row 9. Row 10, the top 20, will be capped out by Cameron Jackson and Bianca Lucero. Anastasius von Sonnen for CUNY Fakita Drive Force starts in row 11 alongside Natalia Velicevic, who did not have a great race last night either at all. Thomas Rogers, his descent in the middle stanza of the season continues, starts in 23rd position alongside Esther Hofson, Julia Takani, and Astra Crane, two of the DNFs from last night's race. They will start the back of the field. Crane serving more of a grid penalty for an engine failure that she received. That was back in Indy. Served part of it last night, serving more of it today. Takani's had an engine failure as well, but cannot start serving it until the next race in Chicago. 26 cars set to go in the field. It is a very topsy-turvy championship battle that we're going to know more answers to at the end of today. Chicago, the street course, looms in the horizon. But we got to get through Nazareth, Pennsylvania first. The 0.946 mile small oval. Revived and in full strength here today. The giant 225 will go green shortly here. Before we get to that point, though, there's one very, very important task at hand, and that is the command the fire engines. Those most famous words in all of motorsports. So let's go ahead and sit at trackside for those world-famous words.
Drivers, start your engines!
Showtime from Nazareth Speedway coming up shortly. Simona Leroux and Stephanie Porter-Kelly will lead the field to green. A pair of Chevrolets at the very front to get things started. The Ford Raptor pace car lead the field around as we get ready to go racing. Scenic Nazareth was left for dead in 2004. You see some of the history, some of the heritage to them. Provided by Dreamcatcher Promotions. Brought to life, given upgrades, rebuilt from the ground up. Safer barriers around the entire exterior wall. One of the many safety improvements made around this racetrack. Nestled in the hills, Appalachia. As the field gets ready to go. Simona Leroux will start from the front of the field. Has never won a World Series race. Would love to start now. The pace car is in. The green flag flies. The giant 225 is underway here in Nazareth. Glover got a better start of anybody in that top 5. Immediately trying to go for the race lead. Leroux holds firm. And the race is on. Porter-Kelly loses just one spot. Outside lane was not friendly to a lot of people yesterday. Not friendly right now to Leon. But she'll slot in front of the defending world champion, Nicole Lecty. Softer compound tire on for today's race. Not marked in the typical red. They kept the tires black-walled. But we're expecting 3 pit stops in this race, as opposed to the 1 stop we had yesterday with the cautions that came out. Expecting a lot more tire wear to be in effect here, as his right side tires fall apart. Intentional degradation of the tire presents some new strategy options to the field, and we're going to see that as this race progresses here. Very quick laps is what we're going to see in this race. A little bit slower though at the daytime. In the heat, it is a lot hotter, almost 25 degrees hotter, just the air temperature from where we were last night. The track temp almost 50 degrees hotter than where we were at race time yesterday. So some huge differences in play. Rowe still leading at the moment, but Glover sitting tightly in second, Porter-Kelly in third. Everyone feeling out this situation because they did not have a chance to test or practice on these softer compound tires. They practiced on the primary tire that we used last night. So all this is brand new to them. Back of the field, Bianca Lucero has fallen behind Esterhausen. There's Marcus Petrovic as well, behind Shifan Chang. Kaya Velicevic, and there is Astrid Crane. There is the 95 of Julia Takani. See the 42 of Kage Kobayashi. There's Thomas Rogers, all of them behind Anastasia Bonsonen, who's moved up several spots. Cameron Jackson breaking away just a little bit. There is Wyatt Jones, who was 2nd place yesterday, the Indy 500 champion, now down in the 15th starting spot, or 15th position right now, as things run. There is Artem Kozlov, yesterday's race winner, stuck behind Mia Valdez and ahead of Evangeline Porter. Catherine Hart just up the road as well. Phantom Motors teammates there nose to tail with a little bit of space in between. That is 10th and 11th place for Andrew Draco and Catherine Hart. And everyone inside the top 10 from 9th on up knows the gearbox. And Simona Leroux controls the pace. One learning more about where these tires stand so far here today. Again, expecting 3 pit stops in this race pretty easily. Go about 60 some odd laps is what Firestone's data has been telling us. And we're expecting it to be really close to that margin, despite the increased heat. As teammates battle it out further down the order, that's Leon around Ishibashi, and it'll invite Lecty and Draco on through as well. So Leon trying to make moves forward. That is up to 7th place for Leon. He's sitting right now in 3rd. DK Glover looking for his 2nd one of the season. If he can break through and get around Simona LaRoe, clean air is key here in Nazareth Speedway. This tire's already beginning to fall off a little bit here. Fast lap 21.038. We're already down to 21 fours. So those tires burning out quickly, and it looks like Hazel Leon trying to make a move around Mateus Michelin. Did not work out. This is 4-6, but it's separating the top 5 away from the group. Two groups of 5 at the front, and then even more further back here as Hart and company try to close in. Pachero struggling there, pulling off of the pack here. Ishibashi tried to find a way around Andrew Draco to get back one of the spots that she lost, and it's not happening here. Looks to the inside of Glover, makes a late move there on the exit of turn 3. And Porticelli wants to try to take a shot at the 77 of LaRoe. Through turn 2, tricky corner. Makes it happen. Glover only loses 1 spot as he stays ahead of the Polish driver, Alicia Kowalkiewicz. Alexander in 5th. And now Porticelli has work to do to crawl back in on the lead held by Simona LaRoe. LaRoe's led the first 19 laps so far of the Giant 225. Right up to the gearbox of the 77, but getting to and passing 2 hard things that are very different from each other. Back to where she started this race in 2nd place. Chevrolet's 1 and 2 at the moment. Kowalkiewicz looking for a way around 6 of Glover. Peek to the inside. Glover feigns to the inside as well. As we've seen so far over the weekend, the easiest way forward is try to pressure your opponent into a mistake and drive underneath them on the inside lane. The outside lane, very seldomly successful in defending, and not possible at all in passing. So it's all about just outdriving your opponent, or letting them outdrive themselves and opening up that opportunity. Feel very close together though. We were expecting, obviously there is a disparity difference between the back and the front of the field. You look at, obviously, the single car teams here with Lucero and Obsidian Racing Team, and then you have Kearney Fakita, who's really struggling to keep the pace. Good small Rosgrees. But it's also pinned a lot of these multi-car teams back here. So you've got Dragon Motorsports mostly is all involved in this. You got part of Arrowhead Racing is involved in this as well. Both Fonterra Racing cars are involved in this. And Taya Velicevic, who typically is really good at these tracks, is stuck in traffic. So there is a gap, but there isn't really any stragglers. It's all cohesive groups right now. We were expecting that with development that this race would be sort of very spread out, and it was going to be very much a strategy call race. It close enough right now that we do see some action going on throughout the field as Rogers tries to find a way around Von Sonnen. This lead group is charging though. Into turn 3 we go, with Thoreau still leading this race ahead of Porter Kelly. Glover third, Kovalkiewicz fourth, Alexander top 5. Pit stops, the great equalizer. They were not kind to Porter Kelly at Indy. And the final pit stop did not help Porter Kelly at all last night. Had strong cars the past few weeks, but nothing to really show for it for the 46th time race winner. Far and away the leader in the World Championship race winners list. Nose to tail so far. As we sit through the first 8 cars here, a little bit of separation before you get to Draco and Ishibashi, who round out the top 10. And then Catherine Hart holds up everyone outside the top 10 here, 11th through about 16th. You have to look all the way down. There's Wyatt Jones. There's Cameron Jackson on a little bit of an island now in 16th. So really Wyatt Jones at 15th, where that tail ends. Sloth looks to the inside of Valdez, as Jones looks to the inside of Porter to make up a spot. That's for 14th. And the exchange takes place before they get to the start finish line. So Wyatt Jones up a spot to 14th place. You have to be very brave, and not a lot of drivers feeling super brave right now in these alternate compound tires, the softer compound that is degrading quickly. Some drivers moving out of necessity, not want or excess. Glover defends the inside. Knows Kovalkiewicz has been peaking for the last few laps. Now just reflexively covering it off. We are 36 laps into this race, coming to complete lap 36 now. Kovalkiewicz leads the way in this battle to try to get to the podium spaces. Glover in third, Kovalkiewicz ahead of Alexander, Michelin and company, as they all try to make some moves forward. It is a nose-to-tail contest in this top 10. Pit stops just a fraction of a second. Be a difference between being 10th right now and being in the podium place like Rebecca Glover is at so far. Glover falling back a little bit off of the rear of Porter Kelly. Saw a little bit of smoke, and that's why Von Sonnen, billowing smoke from that 76 machine, made it to pit lane safely. Thought we saw smoke at a turn 1. That was the case. Von Sonnen had a fantastic race going, was up in the 17th position. It'll be for nothing. There is Lucero on an island. That's going to be a new wrinkle for these leaders to take on here. Leroux and Porter Kelly and Glover. But to try to navigate lap traffic while also setting up for their first pit stop of the race coming up in about 20 to 25 laps. Draco defending from Ishibashi back in the 9th position. Got right back up here. Everyone in the ebb and flow. Deep into this first stanza here in Nazareth. And it's Davies Von Sonnen out, and it is once again for the 76 car another engine failure for Von Sonnen. Here comes Lechty, looks to the inside of Leon, and makes that pass with ease. 2-3 former world champions here with Lechty, Draco, and Leon. All in this group, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And Leon's going to immediately try to come back and battle with Draco, who's been very defensive with Leon's teammate Ishibashi. Draco now up to 8th. That moves Cap and Hart up to the 10th spot. No, sorry, excuse me. Cap and Hart still 11th place. With Von Sonnen, his DNF moved everyone 17th on down up a spot. Top 10 still as is. So Draco 8th, Leon 9th, Ishibashi 10th, Hart 11th. Michelin and Alexander, Striker Motorsports teammates, all 3 Striker cars top 6 at the moment. 5th, 6th, and then 2nd place right now as here comes Leroux trying to choose a lane. Porter Kelly is about to make her stick to it. Oh, here goes. Glover being attacked by the 96 of Kovalkiewicz. Kovalkiewicz driving right to the inside, but Glover on the outside lane. It works out, and Kovalkiewicz can't make any progress on that 3rd spot. Leroux's going to make a choice here to try to get around the last car on lead lap, Bianca Lucero, is trying to avoid going a lap down. Glover peeks to the inside. He wants a chance to go towards the front of the field once more. Lap traffic has definitely bunched the top 10 all the way up. And that's how Kovalkiewicz got to run the first time, is the checkup that has gone nowhere. A lot of cars wanting to move forward. Everyone's struggling to actually do so. Lap times have fallen off by almost 2 seconds. Leroux, Porter Kelly. Glover top 3 at the moment. Leroux trying to find a way around the San Marinese driver. And that McDonald's 88. This is really holding off the leaders from getting to Petrovic, Hofston, Bliskovic and company that are stuck there 17th through 24th. They've gotten some reprieve. Starting lap 51 here in Nazareth. Pit stops again for the first time, not far away, 10 to 15 laps at the most. Leroux's got a lot of frontline speed, it looks like, but just doesn't have a lot of cornering ability. It seems like it's checking up the field because by the time Leroux's back on the gas, the Chero, the 88's got enough power to sort of just pull on the group here. You gotta keep an eye further back in this top 10 as well, because that is Captain Hart. In 11th place, he wants to have a chance to move forward into the top 10. You're looking at Nicole Lecty, who's already been aggressive in the first 50 laps of this race. And you see Glover's gotten around Porter Kelly. And Porter Kelly didn't fight it too hard. Glover wants to go for the race lead. The first 53 laps have all been led by the 77, and the 77 comes in early. Will come into pit lane early. Very interesting call. Came in on lap 54, several laps early. Hands lead off to BK Glover. Was that the genius call of the race? We'll find out. Came in about 7 laps early. That's going to have an adverse effect on Leroux's strategy for this race. They got to go longer on those next 2 stops. And here comes Leroux. Not Leroux, Chero also in the 88. So now Glover has got some clean real estate, but he lost a lot of time to the 77, who's already leaving pit lane now. Crucial, some early pit stops here. And the leaders are going to try to cover off that undercut. Very important there. It's going to give Alexander the race lead and an extra bonus point for leading a lap. The Nashville native out in front now as they go to put Cameron Jackson a lap down. Actually potentially 2 laps down there for Jackson because he was far enough back. And in comes more of the field. This is Matthias Michelin now out in front. So 2 of the striker cars will lead a lap and get a bonus point for it. Much needed for that team as the field cycles through. And Michelin comes in now, so will Hazel Leon, so will Wyatt Jones, as Rogers comes out of pit lane now, ahead of Kobayashi. That was the 95 of Takani. There is Leroux, who may cycle back out in the race lead, and with a decent advantage with that undercut. Several laps uncontested there. See, very busy pit lane. And teammates collide. That's Leon and Ishibashi. Oh, huge trouble. Leon and Ishibashi. Ishibashi was trying to leave as Leon was coming down pit lane. And that's trouble for the Cat Devil racing cars that were 9th and 10th in the field. Unsafe release by Ishibashi into the path of Hazel Leon has cost both teammates time. Leon drops all the way down behind Wyatt Jones, so you have to reasonably believe that Leon is going to drop out of the top 10 easily and maybe down to 15th. Leroux back out in front of the field. And with a very good margin, Porter Kelly 2nd place with 2 lap cars ahead. That is Lucero in the 88 and the 28 of Hobson, as Ishibashi still on pit lane. Michelin up to 3rd. Captain Hart 4th. Andrew Draco top 5. So Phantom Motors, good strategy calls there. Gets both those cars up the order. Both of them are outside the top 5 earlier. Hart was outside the top 10 prior to the first pit stop window. Kovalkiewicz 6th. Valdez 7th. 8th Porter. 9th Lecty. Alexander 10th. Cameron Jackson up to 11th place. Wyatt Jones 12th. And then Artyom Kozlov up several spots to 13th place. Leon in 14th, where we kind of expected, but with damage potentially in that contact with teammates. Not a great race. Cat Devil Racing still learning the cadence between Leon and team. Just hiccups there. Glover down in 15th place. Not a great run so far. Thomas Rogers in 16th. Kaika Kobayashi sitting in the 17th spot. Takani 18th. Then it's Crane, Shufenjang, Vilisevic, Petrovic in 22nd. And there's Leroux trying to put Petrovic a lap down. Porticali still being held up right now by the lap traffic of Lucero and by Hobson. Ishibashi now 5 laps down. And here comes the defending world champion who's had a very rough start of the season, Nicole Lechty. Gets around the 96 of Kovalkiewicz. That is for the 8th spot. Lechty's got it now. So Kovalkiewicz down the 9th. Alexander top 10. That's where the top 10 ends. Porticali got around Lucero, and now we'll get around Hobson as Lechty tries to continue to move forward. So does her teammate Simona Leroux, the race leader, trying to move forward on the lap traffic here. That is fighting and duking it out. And there is Sakura Ishibashi back out on track, the 33 car. Multiple laps down. So right now, I believe 6 laps down, about to go 7. Very poor race for the 33 car now. It's going to be a quiet race if she can hold on to the top 10 before that pit stop. Unable to really fight that off. Now Porticali clear of Hobson. And now the rest of the field has to deal with Lucero. Very interesting, the battles here going on. That is Petrovic, that is Shufenjang, sitting for screen, that wet sport number 20. The 7 of Vilisevic. And then the 80 of Crane just up the road. Trying to make some inroads here. Setting some pretty quick laps in the process. About 4/10 quicker a lap right now than the race leader. But that's a huge gap to make up, 2.8 seconds. And Michelin opens the floodgates around Leroux. There goes Hart. And Draco will try to do the same, as will Valdez and company. Side by side, that is Kovalkiewicz and Alexander for 9th. As Kozlov gets around Wyatt Jones for 12th. And immediately there goes Cameron Jackson poaching on the top 10. And Kozlov move up another spot there. Everyone checking up, trying to find a way around Lucero, the San Marinese driver for Obsidian Racing Team. Kovalkiewicz will drop several spots. Will drop to Wyatt Jones and to Hazel Leon, and drop down into the 14th spot. Maybe, actually, may stay ahead of Leon. So may just drop down to 13th place. It has Michelin up in 3rd place. Teammates might duke it out here for a second. That's Draco and Hart. And this Mia Valdez, that Pepsi number 34. One retirement in this race so far in the first 75 laps. That is that of Anastasia Sponsonen. Simona Leroux back out in front here, has led 69 laps so far. Mercedes Michelin's led 2. Liz Alexander led 1. BK Glover led 3 laps. Those are all your lap leaders so far. As the race ticks by quickly here. No cautions so far. Best lap still remains in the hand of Ishibashi. 21.038 was the fastest lap set by the 33 team. LaRoe leading the way right now, as about a 2-second gap. It's come down a little bit here with LaRoe in traffic and Portichelli getting clear of the initial lap traffic of Hobson and Lucero. You're seeing Portichelli wants to make some quick work and did make quick work of Ishibashi. So that's a huge help for the Bosnian driver based out of Orlando. Portichelli doing nationalist from lives in Orlando, Bosnian American, born in Sarajevo back in 1987. 36-year-old, 3-time world champion, looking to break through and finally get back into the winner's circle. That's returning last year at this very racetrack. And right now making some really good inroads there. You see the two at the front of the field getting close together. And Michelin now approaching Hobson and Ishibashi. A lot of hurdles for that 99 car. And he's got to try to hurdle. He's got to try to get over. There's the Phantom Motors teammates. Draco behind Hart. The leading Cat Devil racing car, Valdez. Then you have Porter, Lecty, Alexander. And you got Jackson, Kozlov, Jones, and Kovalkiewicz. Car in pit lane. Who was that in pit lane? That is Glover in pit lane for an unscheduled pit stop. A cut tire for Glover. Unscheduled stop. Puts him down the running order. Not a great job for BK Glover. Torn tire. Forces him to come in. He'll go a lap down easily, if not two. And that is disastrous for the 6 car, who had such a good run to start off this race. Now down in the 24th position. Getting up to speed. Portichelli's back on the 77's gearbox. Portichelli and LaRoe, and they've got an island of over 4 seconds to try to figure this out amongst themselves. Next pit stop range set to be about lap 115, lap 120. They've got plenty of time to figure this out. Approaching lap 90 here in the Giant 225 at Nazareth Speedway. Looking at the race leaders, duking it out right now. Matthias Michelin still stuck behind Esther Hofson and now in striking range from the rest of the field. Trying to find a way around. There's Captain Hart, wasting no time getting around Ishibashi. And Andrew Draco will do the same. Stuck behind Esther Hofson, which is really negating any chance he has of trying to gain on the late race leaders, including his teammate Portichelli, who has not led a lap in this race. The lion's share of laps led so far has belonged to Simona LaRoe, who coming around to finish lap 90 will have led 84 laps. All but 6 laps led by the Swiss Miss that started this race from pole position. However, they are also stuck behind Marcus Petrovic right now. Michelin stuck behind 28, Esther Hofson. Catherine Hart looking for a potential first podium to really bolster those Rookie of the Year opportunities between Hart and Julia Takani, who's not having a great race right now. Takani right now sitting in 17th. Not in any immediate danger of going a lap down, but it will not be helpful. Michelin finally breaks through and gets around the 28 of Hobson. Now it's on Catherine Hart to do the same. Hart struggling to get around Hobson as Michelin now dispatching the 28 car and trying to move forward to join this battle in the top two. Porticali taking your time. Just trying to focus on managing those tires and staying ahead of the curve, something that was not possible last night. Slow down again once more. Michelin trying to close in here. Immediate impact from 4.5 seconds down to 4 seconds. This means I'm getting even more time here as this run goes along. And now he's got some breathing space. It's Michelin trying to close in at the front of the field. It's closed down in very little time, actually. Only gained a couple tenths here compared to the race leaders. I think the tire fall off has been enough of a factor at this point. We're past the lap 100 mark here in Nazareth. Coming to complete lap 104 of 225. Pit stop's not too far away. Just looking at what we saw in that first stanza. still stuck behind lap traffic. That Petrovic really holding them up there. As Michelin now closes in on about 3 seconds the gap. Captain Hart still stuck behind the 28 of Esterhofsen. Meanwhile, this PK Glover stuck in traffic as well, as here comes Porter looking at the inside of Lecty. Trying to find a way around to try to make some path forward. As lap traffic, the theme of the day at the moment as things stand. It's 4 cars holding up the race leaders at the moment, trying to stay on lead lap. Petrovic, Zhang, Galicevic, and Crane. 4 cars trying to make some inroads. Forward, an even bigger battle here. That is Lucero holding up Rogers, Kobayashi, and Julia Takani. Giant cluster and island of cars. And several islands as Michelin now begins to make his headway at the end of this stint. Yeah, pit stop's not expected to be too far away at this point. Saw some early takers on the last stint. We'll see if that's the case again here. Both Phantom Motors cars got around Esterhofsen as Cameron Jackson comes down pit lane for service. Glover using his fresh tires to try to pick off some cars. He knows he has a chance to cycle to the front of the field here for a moment. He's got to pick off some of these cars as in comes Hart and Leroux. So Porticelli will officially be a race leader here. Finally leading a lap here on lap 114. As she stays out again. Some more cars coming down pit lane. As the second pit stop window opens up. Not where we expected. A couple laps early. Lap 113. Porticelli is coming in on lap 115, right in the window that we expected. And that gives Matheus Michelin the lap lead back. His 3rd lap led in this race. He stayed out longer last stint as well, trying to get closer to that lap 120 marker. As Captain Hart leaves pit lane. So we are going to see some shaking up here as Michelin stays out an extra lap. Jacob comes down pit lane. As will Glover. Glover stays out. Remember, he pit off sequence for a cut tire, so he's going to stay out. He's going to be off sequence for a little bit here. There's Alexander. There's Cameron Jackson, who was the first one that came down pit lane this cycle. We'll drive around Alexander on those fresher tires. Trying to make some inroads. Michelin in. So that gives Alexander the race lead. All 3 Stoker cars have now led a lap here in Nazareth here on Sunday. And Alexander comes in this time. Cycling back around to see where everyone's at. There is Leroux. Behind Schuf and Zhang, and then there's Porticelli not far away. Captain Hart also not too far away here. See how everyone cycles through here, but this should be your race leader right now. That's 77 of LaRoe. Is Nazareth about to go a lap down. Did go a lap down to LaRoe. Almost went a lap down to Porter Kelly. Jane being held up right now by Lucero, the 88. Lisevich ahead of Porter Kelly. Michelin stays in third ahead of Captain Hart, but the top four all clear. Valdez top five. Draco lost a spot there, but also is clear of traffic. As Hobson now ahead of Porter and Lechty. Car in pit lane is Leon. And this is an extended pit stop for Leon. Potentially related to the contact made under the first pit stop sequence between teammates there with Leon and Porter and Ishibashi. That put Ishibashi 7 laps down in this race. Leon now in the same boat. And caution's out. Caution is out. And this will put a damper on things. Caution out for the first time. Saw Ishibashi come down pit lane. As Leon leaves pit lane now. Ishibashi leaving pit lane now as well. Let's even figure out what that caution was for. Picked up the race leaders. Whoa, very careful there is Ishibashi trying to get back ahead based off of where the caution came out. Both Leon and Ishibashi will cycle to the rear of the field. A couple cars did come in under that sequence. Cameron Jackson, Andrew Draco, all preferring the fresher tires. Elizabeth Thomas Rogers is also in that group. But they will now be deep in traffic. Hearing that it's debris from what could be a 32 car that's drawn the caution out. That may be why Leon was in pit lane for an extended period of time if debris was falling off of that 32 car at the end of that run. Leon now 5 laps down along with Ishibashi. It is LaRoe front of the field. Then it's Porter Kelly and Michelin top 3. The 7 car of Nazareth is a lap down. The first car a lap down of 5. Lisevich, Hobson, Lucero 1 lap down. Leon's 5 laps down. Ishibashi officially is 6 laps down at this point. Looks like Lucero's also come down pit lane. So some takers. Jackson, Glover, Rogers, Draco, all down the running order. And there they are. Actually, I'm getting reports that Draco did not come down pit lane. That was Glover that came down pit lane. There was Draco right there, so he did not come down pit lane. It was Glover that came down. So Draco still sits 6th place. And that makes sense. For them, track position is crucial. There's Glover. So a chance to wing it and see what sticks for the back end in the field, but they will be at the very tail end of the field. 25 cars still running. First caution of the race, a debris caution off of the 32 car of Hazel Leon. As the field gets set to go racing once again, we've crossed the halfway point in this race. His car is in. LaRoe leads the field to green. Away we go. In the field, now back together once again. How quickly can they get around the 7 of Velisevich? Or can the Velisevich potentially get a lap back here? Be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Eyes on Porticelli, the 60 car. Is got to try to find a way around if she wants a chance to go after the race leader. Took about 45 laps to get back through. Lucero, black flag. For running over equipment on pit lane, and you see Lucero serving that now. So insult to injury for the 88 car, who was already last car 1 lap down. Will now go at least another lap down, if not 2 more laps down, to be firmly on an island. Battle further back. This is for the 4th spot. Hart, Valdez, Draco, all in the mix. Velisevich holding her own right now in the top 3. Amongst this top 3 battle, Captain Hart trying to get back in lockstep with that group for the first time. Under severe duress from Valdez, the Miami race winner. Thompson holding up Porter and Lechty. As Kozlov now in the top 10, trying to make some inroads on that. Kovalevich 11th, Wyatt Jones 12th, Takani 13th, Kobayashi 14th, Asher Crane your top 15 at the moment as things stand. Petrovich, Jackson, Rogers, and Glover all on lead lap as well. 20 cars even on lead lap. Those on lead lap got a fresh chance. That 7 car, it looked like almost something that happened to the 7 car, but there you go. Michelin taking on teammate Porter Kelly. Couldn't make that pass in turn 2, has to wait until turn 3. And Catherine's gonna try to do the same. Gonna be close. Gotta be able to maintain that momentum into turn 2. Ooh, gonna be close. Porter Kelly really fighting it off right now, trying. Really strong out of turn 2, just doesn't have it in turn 3. Toughest corner on the track is turn 3. And here comes the fall backwards for the 3-time champ. Trying to stop the bleeding somehow, some way, and finally does so with Valdez. What was going to be potentially an even bigger loss ended up just being 2 spots. Porter Kelly's car strong enough to do that. Michelin up to 2nd. Catherine Hart up to 3rd. Lisvich trying to get a lap back here. Kicks the inside, not close enough there to 3. Continues to lead the way, has led 132 laps. Over half this race has belonged to Leroux. All right, now once again under pressure, this time from Porter Kelly, and not just Valdez. In that battle for the 3rd spot. As lap times continue to tick away. Lap 147 now. About 3 laps a minute is where we're at right now. As this race resumes. Should be a pretty easy one-stop race to finish for the field. Trying to find a way back onto the podium. Also keep an eye a little further back. Adam Kozlov got a strong car. We saw that last night. Completely different under daytime conditions, but that 3 cars looks still pretty handy. For the Russian ace, sitting again top 10 at the moment. Kovalevich 11th. See that Arasaka 96 car sitting and waiting. Wyatt Jones at Menards, number 25, sitting in the 12th spot. Joey Takani's up spots. 13th. Good recovery drive for the 95 car, who was down in the 18th, 19th position. Then there's Kobayashi, there's Crane, the 80. Petrovich ahead of Zhang, Jackson, Rogers, and Glover, who've made no inroads whatsoever. very clear that Catherine Hart does not have the pace, the challenge for the race leaders at the moment. Seconds the gap here as Elizabeth continues to beat the wall, separating Leroux from Michelin. First car lap down, holding Michelin at bay. Everyone in station at the moment. There you go, Porter and Lechty have both gotten around the 28 of Hobson. Big moves there with less than 75 laps to go. So it's them to join that fight for potentially third place. Find a way around Velisevich here, just trying to get closer to Leroux. This is where the back of the field is right now. Glover, Rogers, and Jackson have not paid off on that decision to pit during that caution cycle. Now, when the rest of the field comes in, because remember, these are the only three that came in from the lead lap group, they will have the race lead for a period of time, but they will have to make a pit stop, and they will be in the wrong side of the undercut. When that happens, Simona Leroux, 147 laps led, 148 laps led, excuse me. Absolutely imposing today. Both hands on potentially her first career Champ Car race win. She can make things happen here. Most laps led outside of Leroux is just 5 laps. That is Michelin in second place. That's led those 5 laps under pit sequence. It'll take a little bit more for him to try to lead laps now, with the 2 different strategy calls going on at the moment. Leroux would be one of the first ones to come in, traditionally, looking at the pattern that we've seen before. The magic number that everyone's trying to get to at the moment that stayed out. You're trying to get to about lap 170-ish. If you get to about lap 170, 180, you're good. You're golden on the tire strategy call. Pitting now, you'd be a little bit behind the 8 ball on that pit strategy call, but some could do it. At least Alexander would be one of those that could really make that happen. Alexander right now in 9th place. We're expecting about lap 175-ish for Leroux. Most of the field should be in at that point by about lap 175. And the approach that is Lucero. So I've slowed down their pace a little bit here. We're probably still struggling to get around Captain Hart. Kelly in third now that Catherine Hart's come down pit lane. Catherine Hart, one of the first ones down pit lane. Very interesting the way that has bucked the trend. Catherine Hart was one of the ones that stayed out a little bit longer. So Catherine Hart trying to close in on this group right here by getting the undercut. And in comes Leroux. And now it's on Michelin to make things happen. He will lead another lap, his 6th lap of this race. Kelly in second place, already closing in. Sienna Valdez, advancing Porter. It has a little bit more time to give. So race leader Leroux hits her box. And does Michelin come down pit lane? Not this time. Stays a little bit longer. Kelly does come in though to cover off that undercut. Advancing Porter comes in as well. Leaves Valdez and Draco out. And Lechty. Alexander and Kozlov also stay out long. Most of the field still staying out a little bit longer. And this is the group that will end up inheriting the race lead. Cameron Jackson, Thomas Rogers, BK Glover. This is the group that will end up inheriting that race lead. Again, they've got to make a pit stop too. They're just making their pit stop later. With less than 50 laps to go. They cannot go the entire rest of the race distance. Very likely they will go a lap down when they make their last pit stop. What they're hoping for is that there's a little bit of chaos and that there's like a caution comes out that saves them from that. That one caution for debris in this race. More cars down pit lane. This Cameron Jackson looks set to lead the field around. Very slow pit lane as well, 37 miles an hour. Here at Nazareth. Average lap pace that we're seeing right now is, even at the slowest pace we're seeing right now, 155 miles an hour. It's still a pretty quick speed. Wyatt Jones finally led a lap in this race as well. stayed out an extra lap longer. Trying to get an extra bonus point there for leading a lap. LaRoe has got the most laps led blocked up easily. Cameron Jackson now the race leader for the first time today. Nashville race winner. 3 race winners right here in this group. All 3 now to win races. They've done so this year. Rogers won the first 2 races of the season. Glover won at Texas. Jackson won at Nashville. They've had to rely on an alternate strategy call to try to give themselves a chance at the front of the field. That's where they're at right now. Little 3-car cushion. And then laps down. You see Ishibashi come down pit lane. This is crucial because this is Cap and Hart front of the field. That undercut worked out because Porter Kelly and LaRoe got held up by Lucero. So this could be huge if Cap and Hart could end up breaking through and getting a first win, which right now she's in position to do so. Porter Kelly struggling to find a way around Lucero. And she needs to have a chance at the 31 car. Cap and Hart right now 4th place. First car a lap down. Here comes Porter Kelly. Looks to the inside the 88. And there you go. That's your move to get around to start closing in on the 31 that you know you're faster than, because here comes the race leaders in. So now the race is on to catch up to the 31 at Cap and Hart. New race leader, Cap and Hart, the 31. Porter Kelly trying to close in the gap. Cap and Hart's got a little bit more to deal with. That is Sakura Ishibashi, the 33 car. Coming 40 laps to go. Hart will make quick work of Ishibashi. So Hart leads the way now over Porter Kelly and LaRoe, with Michelin, Porter, and Valdez checked up behind 2 lap cars. There's Artyom Kozlov, 7th, 8th for Kobayashi, 9th for Draco, 10th for Lecty. And it's Kovalkiewicz from White Jones, top 12, top 13, earmarked by Astra Crane. Huge shakeup there. Oh, here we go. Porter Kelly got right around Ishibashi and is closed in dramatically. We've got a fight at the front of the field. 2 drivers that have led very little so far today. Until now, Cap and Hart's not led at all today. Porter Kelly led 3 laps earlier, but now right here on Cap and Hart. Cap and Hart, this is the biggest test, to test her mettle in the World Series right now. As the fight wages on. Porticali closing right into the gearbox at 31. It's going to be a very tight fight between the two. LaRoe sitting firmly in that third spot at the moment. Stuck behind Ishibashi, but not really under threat from Michelin or Porter at the moment. Porter top 5 ahead of Valdez, who is still behind the 88 of Lucero. It's a huge battle in the groups here. Looks like there might be a potential move there by Kozlov to get up into that 6th spot. Finally gets around Ishibashi. Porticali faster right now than Cap and Hart. As we mentioned earlier, very difficult to make passes happen. Very engrossed in this battle right now at the front of the field. Porticali could not get around Cap and Hart earlier when they were together. "29 laps to go is where we're at right now. LaRoe closing in as well. It's very interesting how slow Hart is compared to the rest of the field at the moment. But Hart has the track position element at her disposal. LaRoe just looks so good right now in that 77 car. Closed right in on this group. So did the 7 of Vulisevich. The first car stuck a lap down. Michelin not far away either. Neither is Porter. Could potentially be 5 cars in a cluster here. Porticali trying to figure out how to do this. How to get around Cap and Hart. She spent a lot of time studying her. All comes down to this. There's LaRoe in third. So the pressure is on. Valdez got clear of Lucero. So did Kozlov. Took a second, but so did Kobayashi. There's Draco and Lechty battling side by side for 9th. Lechty wants it. Draco has it. Draco holds on to it in the turn 2. Good stuff on the outside lane there for Draco, defending that outside lane. See this giant gaggle of cars all the way. This is from 8th place on the field all the way down, almost deep into the down, because there's Alexander 17th. The only people not in this group right now is Jackson, Rogers, and Glover, who've made that pit stop and are able to close in on this. They could be there by the end of the race. But catching up to and passing different things, as you can see from the race leaders at the moment. Porticali, LaRoe, Michelin, and Porter all caught up to Cap and Hart. That's how you make passes happen. That is so intriguing. And again, the pressure bears down on 31. "22 laps to go. The Australian looking for her first World Series win. The 10th race of the season. It'd be a very much needed result for Phantom Motors if they can get it to happen. It's not been a great start of the season for either the 31 or the 13. Both of them right now sitting top 10 at the moment. Oh, the pressure is on right now. This can go any of 5 ways right now, and Camyron knows it. 20 to go. Backing up just a little bit, trying to get a run forward once again. You got a couple of really good opportunities to do something about it. Valdez and Kozlov on an island. Tranko looks to the inside of Kobayashi, who's right now sitting top 10. Was a lap down yesterday. Started this race 16th, up 8 spots. Right now in the 8th spot, ahead of Draco and Lecty. We round out the top 10 right now. There's Wyatt Jones. And see Lachera holding up Crane and company. Catherine Hart. He's the lead. That is her 25th lap led in this race. Much needed results for all 3 of these cars at the moment. We're falling back just a little bit in this battle as well. Porticali really still applying all the pressure on that 31 car. Unfortunately, there's just not going to be a lot of lap traffic here for Porticali to use as a pick. She's got to try to muscle her way around to make it happen. Oh, here comes Velicevic. Oh, very interesting call by Velicevic to try to move up in the running order here. This is Velicevic a lap down, but this opens the door for Michelin and Porter. Oh, that's very interesting. What a scramble we could have here. Michelin still battling with Leroux for the 3rd spot. And Michelin should have it in the 3. And does. Oh, Porter also trying to make her way through. Would love to have an extra spot as well. Championship leader. Ahead by turn 2 and clear. Porticali peeks to the inside. I have a feeling we're shaping up for a very late pass for the race lead. And she's going to try to make it to where Captain Hart has no chance at a response. Michelin in 3rd. Teammates 2nd and 3rd for Striker Motorsports. That black car of Velicevic not a factor for the race lead, but a factor for the track position game. Velicevic right now is 21st. One of just 2 cars a lap down. Velicevic and Hobson 1 lap down. Lachera 3 laps down, who we've seen on and off today. Hazel Leon and Sakura Ishibashi, terrible races. 5 and 7 laps down for them after contact between the 2 on pit lane. Teammates having a huge hiccup there. It's left the Cat Devil Racing scoring down to Mia Valdez, who sits in the 6th spot. Captain Hart's turned up the pace a little bit. Trying to secure her first career win. Right, backed it up just a little bit to try to get a good run. Everyone else relatively holding station. The only big change was Alexander dropped down to 20th, but had been losing time on old tires anyway. Lost out to Jackson, Rogers, and Glover. So 20th place for Alexander. Coming to 6 laps to go. Porticelli still very firmly in the fight. Petrich beginning his descent down as well. Five laps to go. The road dropped down to 5th place and has not been able to do anything about it. 4 to go. And Porticelli's been lockstep with Hart the entire time. If there's going to be a pass made, here we go. Oh, not close enough. Not close enough, but she peaked. Oh, this is interesting. So interesting. A little bit of a gap with 3 to go. Got to really reel that back in. It looks like she's doing so. This is going to be a last lap maneuver if we get it. Oh, she closed in so quick too. But once again, what's the inside? Just not close enough here. We're coming to the white flag, coming to the 1 lap to go signal. White flag is in the air, 1 lap to go. Porticelli's got it, she's gonna do it now. Catherine Hart leads the way. It's these two out in front. Catherine Hart peeks to the inside, but not close enough to make anything happen. Catherine Hart becomes a Champ Car race winner. She wins the Giant 225 in Nazareth. Porticelli gave it a couple shots, not capable of making it happen. She'll stay 2nd place. Mateus Michelin 3rd, ahead of Evangeline Porter. Simona Leroux, who led the most laps today at 159 of 225 laps. Mia Valdez 6th, Artyom Kozlov 7th. Catherine Hart, though, front of the field, race winner for the first time. And Phantom Motors returns to victory lane. As the field all comes down to their pit boxes here. Kozlov 7th. Kage Kobayashi stays top 10, finishes 8th ahead of Andrew Draco and Nicole Lechty. Alicia Kovalkiewicz 11th ahead of Wyatt Jones. Astrid Crane in 13th place ahead of Julia Takani. Shufan Jiang 15th, Marcus Petrovich 16th, Cameron Jackson, Thomas Rogers, BK Glover, and Elise Alexander, your top 20. Ahead of Ty Velicevic, Esther Hofson, Bianca Lucero, Hazel Leon, and Sakura Ishibashi, who end up 7 laps down. Anastasia von Stonen, the only retirement from this race with an engine failure, will have a 10th place grid penalty to serve at Chicago in 7 days' time. But Catherine Hart, a race winner here in Nazareth as we head to Chicago, the streets of Grant Park in downtown Chicago. We have more racing later today. It is the Champ Car Challenger Series from New England, from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 32 cars set to do battle there at the Magic Mile. We'll see you here on ABN for more racing from Champ Car for both the World Series and the Challenger Series. Until next time, on behalf of everyone here for ABN Studios, Horizon Corporation, and Champ Car, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in New Hampshire later on this afternoon. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next time.